Um, we're here to stop, pause for one moment, and to highlight the fact that South Carolina's new DUI law will be going into effect tomorrow. And we're here as well to celebrate and to again thank all the different folks that worked so hard in bringing it about. This is a theme that we've actually talked on every single one of the states until this last one. It's something that we laid out as one of our top 3 priorities last year. And it's something that whether Trey County is just an absolutely great South Carolinian has worked so hard to push, whether somebody like Mark Keel and the team over there, Jeff Moore and the sheriffs, the prosecutors, Matt, folks in the House of Senators there. A lot of people worked awfully hard for an awfully long time. And more than anything, we're here because of people like Ann and Eddie, whose son Jeffrey tragically died of a DUI. And we're here to celebrate both his life and the fact that you all, others like you, stood tall in remembering his life, trying to make something of that tragedy, and to try and working so hard to try and prevent that tragedy from coming to us. I guess that's why we're here. It needs to be remembered that we have an epidemic in South Carolina. I mean, we were at a cabinet this morning, and Mark made the point that roughly 1,000 people die each year in South Carolina as a result of traffic fatalities. But the really horrible part is that fully 50% of them are preventable because they're alcohol-related fatalities. Alcohol-related fatalities. And so, can you imagine having an epidemic in South Carolina where you knew the cure, it killed 500 people a year, and yet for so many years, that cure was not offered? I think that what this bill, what this is about today, is about saying there's a cure. It's not a perfect cure, but it's a step in the right direction. A lot of people worked awfully hard on it. So, if I might, just to keep this with some kind of reasonable time constraint, Trey, if you come up, followed by Mark, followed by Jeff. Sarah will give you a little speak with us, everybody, and say, good on here. Can I tag you? All right. And then, if it wouldn't be too much for y'all parts, Ann and Eddie, if you're up for it, if you want to say just a quick word, if you want to say a quick word, you listed before, whatever that, I got to get protocols. But let me hand off those.
I want to start by thanking Governor Sanford. Without whose leadership, today would not take place. Can you imagine the luxury of a coalition of prosecutors, crime victims, law enforcement officers, having a governor who is willing, beginning the legislative session, to push this for 3 or 4 years in a row, to mention it, to say it, to state. Governor, you're very kind to compliment other people, but the reality is we would not be here today had it not been. The tiered system, there's several good aspects to what's going into effect tomorrow. The tiered system, which, as you hopefully know by now, takes into account recidivism and impairment level, and gives you a graduated penalty or punishment system based on your impairment and your recidivism or your prior offenses. The suspension period has been lengthened for those who refuse to take a breathalyzer, which you have to have. This bill that pushes people to take a breathalyzer. So you have to have an increase in suspension for those who do not. And it eliminates what was a draconian and unnecessary set of Miranda warnings for law enforcement officers at roadshows before field sobriety tests were administered. So those are 3. There are other good things this bill does. I'm excited, as the governor is, but I'm also going to come back a year from now. Hopefully with him and hopefully with good news. Because the proof will be whether or not our highway safety statistics go down. We have to be vigilant and look for the results that we think we're going to get, and we have to be vigilant regarding its unintended consequences of this bill. So I'm excited, mainly excited about what I hope the next 12 months holds in terms of a reduction in highway fatalities in South Carolina.
Thank you all again. I appreciate everyone that's here today. I appreciate the folks behind us, the law enforcement, who's going to be out enforcing this law. We believe that law enforcement does make a difference. The number of people on the road make a difference. And I am committed, as are Colonel Lancaster and Colonel Moore with State Transport Police and Highway Patrol. We're going to work with the cities and counties, the sheriffs, the chiefs in this state to enforce this law. As the governor said, there's far too many people die on our highways because of drunk driving and alcohol-related incidents. When you look at 50%, we're number 2 in the nation, only behind Montana, and that's not a place that we want to be. We want to work hard. We're going to work together, and DPS is committed to doing that. And again, I just appreciate all the effort that went into this. We saw our fatality rate drop by about 15% this year. However, our DUI-related fatalities increased by 7%. So obviously, we've got a lot of work to do. And again, we appreciate everybody's effort in this. I want to thank the chiefs and sheriffs of the state and all these law enforcement officers behind me that partner with us in our law enforcement network and trying to make a difference in South Carolina and save lives. Thank you.
It's good to be here today. As the governor stated, it was a long, hard road, about 4.5 years to get this piece of legislation passed. But the payoff begins tomorrow at noon with the new law goes into effect. It does have stiff penalties. It has removed impediments that made it difficult, if not impossible, for the law enforcement community to actively enforce and prosecute offenses under the old law. But ultimately, it was going to have the impact that we wanted to have, and our mantra was change behavior and save lives. And we hope that the impact this legislation is going to have is to change behavior. But ultimately, it's up to each and every one of us individually to do the right thing, both for ourselves and for our friends and our families. All the laws in the world are wonderful. If we don't stand up and take responsibility into our own hands, very little is likely to happen. We all want to see a reduction in DUIs next year. We all want to see a reduction in accidents, fatalities, and you're going to see that, I think. I think the law is going to have an impact to do that. But we want to see dramatic numbers, and the only way that's going to happen is for individuals to stand up and do the right thing. Before I step away from the microphone, I want to thank Ed Harmon from the Department of Public Safety and his staff. We were sort of the Impaired Driving Prevention Council dilemma. We had to get the word out about this new law to the driving public, and Ed and his staff found the money. I don't know where in the world they found it, this economy, but they found the money and put together some outstanding public service announcements. You've seen it on television probably. And I want to thank Ed. I don't know where there you are, Ed. I want to thank you and your staff for getting that done in very little time. Thank you.
My name is Mike Fair. In the state Senate, is delighted to be here and just asked by the governor to represent the General Assembly. So all of you were with us in the Senate case, from my associates take exception. I'm grateful. It's a pleasure for me on behalf of the state Senate specifically, and Larry Martin, Senator Martin, Senator Massey, Senator West Hayes, who provided leadership on this bill, to thank all of you, to thank the governor, to thank law enforcement, the Sheriff's Association, all these men and women who are here to enforce the law, and to make this observation that this very significant piece of legislation is a good example of government doing what we're supposed to do and to cooperate with one another. It can't be overstated when we say that the governor's leadership in this matter was critical, and as has already been pointed out, it was not something that happened overnight. His persistence, his leadership, his courage, quite frankly, was matched only by the families who've been involved in tragic events, who continue to take the lead in trying to get better, more responsible legislation passed.